In an unprecedented move on June 24, 2026, Attorney General Todd Blanche stood before a sea of flashing cameras and eager reporters at a Department of Justice press conference. His voice carried a weight that matched the gravity of the occasion. Today marks the greatest combined federal and state effort in combating healthcare fraud in history, he declared. As the room buzzed with anticipation, Blanche detailed an operation involving 455 defendants and the staggering sum of $6.5 billion in fraudulent claims. But at the heart of this massive takedown was one man, a telemedicine kingpin named Rowan. Cut to scenes of federal agents seizing an astonishing array of luxury assets, $111 million in bank funds frozen, 9 gleaming luxury vehicles towed away, and 9 opulent properties padlocked and secured. Rowan, the elusive mastermind, had orchestrated a web of deceit that ensnared Medicare, TRICARE, ShampVia, and various commercial insurers. His empire of fraud billed an astronomical $1.2 billion in false claims, ultimately pocketing $24 million for himself to finance an extravagant lifestyle. To understand Rowan's rise, we must rewind to the years following the COVID-19 pandemic, when telemedicine was catapulted to the forefront of healthcare. As lockdowns constrained in-person medical visits, virtual consultations became the norm, leading to an explosion in the telemedicine industry. The convenience and necessity spurred a multi-billion-dollar sector, one that operated within a gray zone of regulatory oversight, ripe for exploitation by those savvy enough to maneuver its intricacies. Rowan was such an individual. With a keen eye for opportunity, he stepped into this burgeoning landscape, constructing a telemedicine empire from the shadows. He orchestrated a network of accomplices, including corrupt doctors and unsuspecting patients. Together, they generated countless doctor orders and medically unnecessary tests, all with the intent to defraud government health programs and private insurers. For Rowan, the allure of easy money was irresistible. Between 2021 and 2024, Rowan made his move, billing a staggering $1.2 billion through a myriad of shell companies and front operations. But while his empire grew, so did his appetite for the trappings of wealth.
With $24 million in personal gains, Rowan indulged in a life of luxury. From sprawling estates in opulent neighborhoods, to a fleet of exotic cars and a collection of watches worth more than most people's homes. In the midst of his deception, the consequences of Rowan's actions rippled through the healthcare system, a financial burden that cost taxpayers dearly. Yet, as he reveled in his ill-gotten gains, law enforcement agencies, led by FBI Director Kash Patel, were closing in. Their meticulous investigation traced the flow of illicit funds and built a compelling case against Rowan and his network of co-conspirators. With $614 million already paid out, their fraudulent activities formed just a fraction of the larger $6.5 billion scheme targeted in the national crackdown. As federal prosecutors pieced together the evidence, it became clear that Rowan's ascent was not merely a story of personal greed, but a symbol of the vulnerabilities inherent in a rapidly evolving healthcare landscape. The perfect storm of innovation and oversight gaps had allowed Rowan to exploit the system to unfathomable heights, all the while living a life far removed from the reality of those who would ultimately pay the price. Now, with $126.5 million in assets seized, Rowan's reign was coming to a stark end. The cracks in Rowan's empire began to show when a group of astute federal investigators started to notice peculiar patterns. It was as if they were piecing together a complex jigsaw puzzle, where the inconsistencies became alarmingly clear. The impossible billing rates were the first red flag, invoices for procedures and consultations that defied medical logic. Patients appeared in the records, only to vanish like phantoms, and telemedicine doctors were signing off on thousands of orders with machine-like precision. With mounting suspicion, the investigators turned to data analytics, leveraging cutting-edge technology to sift through the avalanche of claims. They meticulously traced the operations back to the myriad of shell companies Rowan had meticulously constructed. Patterns began to emerge, revealing the vast network of deceit that spanned across state lines. The pieces of the puzzle started to align, exposing the sheer audacity of Rowan's fraudulent empire. In a coordinated effort, law enforcement agencies launched a 2-week sting operation spanning 45 states. It was a logistical feat requiring precision and secrecy to bring the operation to its pivotal moment. The morning of June 24, 2026 marked the culmination of years of investigation and planning.
As the Department of Justice announced the charges against 455 defendants, it became evident that Rowan's empire was crumbling under the weight of undeniable evidence. The fallout was immense. In addition to the $111 million in frozen bank funds, authorities seized $182 million in cash, luxury vehicles, and glittering jewelry. Rowan's assets, once symbols of his deceitful triumph, were now a testament to his downfall. 9 properties that had once echoed with indulgent laughter now stood silent and secured, and his prized collection of sports memorabilia was catalogued for confiscation. FBI Director Kash Patel addressed the nation, his voice resonating with resolve. This operation represents not only a victory against one man, but a victory for every honest taxpayer and healthcare provider across the country. We have shown that no matter how complex the scheme, justice will prevail. As Rowan's once mighty empire lay in ruins, the reverberations of his greed echoed across the healthcare sector. The case served as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities within a system poised at the intersection of innovation and exploitation. For taxpayers, it underscored the importance of vigilance and the eternal cost of oversight gaps. For investors and stakeholders in the burgeoning telemedicine industry, it was a call to action to advocate for robust regulatory frameworks that could safeguard against future abuses. And if all this talk of financial crime and wasted money has you thinking about your own financial health, tools like Rocket Money can help you track your spending, cancel hidden subscriptions, and keep more of what you earn. Check it out at rocketmoney.com. The story of Rowan's rise and fall, while extraordinary, is a cautionary tale etched into the annals of financial crime. It highlights the perennial battle between those seeking to exploit the system and those committed to upholding justice. Greed may drive the unscrupulous to unimaginable lengths, yet the long arm of justice remains unyielding in its pursuit. As we conclude this chapter of Deceit Met with Justice, we invite you to reflect on the broader implications for innovation, regulation, and ethical practice. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth business documentaries, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and watch our next video for another intriguing story from the world of high-stakes finance.